Hello, in this video I would like to show you how to create a Kafka cluster in AWS. I will be following this tutorial. I will put the link to this tutorial to the description for this video. Okay, let's start. First of all, we have to go to clusters and create a new cluster. Let's type here MSK over here. Let's go to clusters, and now let's create a new cluster. We will choose custom create. Let's call it new cluster. It will be serverless. Then next. Now let's choose our VPC. I've got only one VPC. Let's choose a couple of zones and subnets. Let's create a new security group. Let's go to another tab. Security groups. And let's create a new security group. We will call it, for example, Kafka Cluster security group. Let's copy the same over here. VPS, we have only one VPS, and now let's create security group. Okay, it's been created. Now let's choose it here. Over here, we will remove this one, and now we've got only our security group. Let's push next, and then let's create our cluster. Okay, now it will take some time to create this cluster. Now, if we have a look over here, it will be to create an IAM role, but let's first create an EC2 instance, because it will also take time to wait until it's created. Let's go to EC2. Then let's launch instances. Let's call it EC2 Kafka. Then we will choose key pair. Then we will create a new security group. It will be called Launch Wizard 1. And I guess that's all. Let's launch the instance, and now we have to wait until it's been created. But meanwhile, we will go to roles, and we will create a new IAM role. So we will copy this policy. Now let's go to roles. And then first let's create a policy. Let's create a new policy called, for example, Kafka policy. Let's use JSON. Push here. Now we need to take IRN of our cluster. Let's take it. Let's go back to MSK. Here is our cluster, and here is our IRN. Okay, let's go back over here, and then copy without this ID. Okay, now let's copy it again over here, then copy it here, but here, as you can see, we have topic, not cluster. That's why later we have to change it to topic. And here we've got a group. You see, it's a group. And now group. Okay, we can push next. Let's call it Kafka policy. Create policy. Okay, I have already a policy with such a name. Let's call it Kafka policy 1. Create policy. Okay, so now we have to go to roles, and then let's create a new role. Let's first choose EC2. It doesn't matter what to choose. We will get rid of this later. Then let's choose, for example, this one, permission, next, and then let's call it, for example, Kafka role. Then we'll push create role, and then let's enter it and add a new policy. Add permission and attach policy. Now we will choose our policy, Kafka policy 1. add permissions. Now we can remove this permission, because we don't need it. Remove, and that's it. It's done. Now everything is good. Let's go back to our EC2 instance, and let's see if we have already our EC2 instance running. Yeah, it's running. So what we're going to do, we're going to connect the role which we created to this EC2 instance. Actions, security, I have to select it. Actions, security, modify IAM role, and now let's choose our role, Kafka role, update. Okay, good. So we updated our EC2 instance. Now let's go to clusters, to our MSK clusters. Let's have a look over here. Yeah, it's already active. Now let's go inside the cluster and let's make changes to the security group applied. So we are going to let all the security group which is assigned to our EC2 instance, we want to let this group connect to our cluster. That's why we push add rule. Here we will choose all traffic, and here we will choose our group which is launch wizard 1. That's our group which is attached to our EC2 instance. Save rules. Okay, this one is done. So now what we can do, we can go back to our EC2 instance, and we can connect to this instance via our SSH, because first what we need to do, we need to create a topic. Unfortunately, you cannot create a topic using UI in AWS. You need to execute commands, and we are going to execute these commands from our EC2 instance. Let's connect over here. Okay, I connected. Now the next step which we have to do, let's open our tutorial. So we created the cluster, created the role, created the client. Now we have to create the client. First of all, we need to install Java 11 over here. Now we need to get Kafka. Okay, it's been downloaded. Now the next command which we have to execute, we need to unarchive it. Now we need to go to the libs directory and download this jar file. Done. Now we need to create client properties. Okay. And the next one, we can already create a topic, but first we need to export our endpoint to environment variable. We need to go to our cluster, view client information, and then copy this address, and then let's export it equals. Okay, done. And now what we have to do, we have to execute this command, and let's see what will be the outcome. Okay, the topic has been created, everything is good. Here you can have two problems. The first one, it hangs, and then you will have a timeout, and it means that you did not add security group to the security group of EC2 instance to the security group of the cluster. Or you can have something like not authorized. This one means that you didn't assign the role to the EC2 instance, or something is wrong in your role. Okay, so but in our case everything is good. Now we can try to produce some messages to our topic. Okay, here are our messages, and in this window we will try to read these messages in the consumer. Okay, I will export BS. Let's copy it. Okay, now I will copy this one is a command for consumer. I have to change here Bootstrap server my endpoint. I will take it from the environment variable. Here it is, like this, PS. Okay, let's start. Yeah, because I did not change the directory, it should be in Kafka bin. And now let's start. Should be working. Invalid URL. Let's see where I did a mistake. BS. Yeah, I think I forgot the space over here. And here are our messages. That's all. That's how to set up Kafka in MSK AWS. Hopefully this video will be useful for you. Thank you. Bye bye.